So in this poem, narrator is talking about the link between nature and human being. Or rather, I would say the author is talking about the communion with human being and nature. How nature influences us and we are a part of nature. So in this poem, the very first line, the author is saying, I wandered lonely as a cloud. So narrator compares himself with a cloud. And a cloud can go over mountains, over hills, over valleys. Vales means valleys. So narrator compares himself with a cloud which can move over mountains, which can move over clouds. So narrator kept on moving from one place to another. So while moving from place to place, narrator went from one place to another, like the cloud in the sky, which can go above mountains and hills and rivers. So narrator, while in his journey, all at once, narrator saw a crowd of golden daffodils. So narrator, while he was traveling, he saw daffodils. So this is daffodils. So while narrator was moving from one place to the other, while he was on his holiday, uh, so he saw golden daffodils. So this is daffodil flowers. He saw golden daffodils. And narrator calls these golden daffodils as host, who welcomed him like a guest. Suppose I go to your house, so I would be the guest and you would be the host. एक मेहमान मैं और आप मेजबान. So if I go to your house, you would welcome me and I would be welcomed by you. So when narrator goes to this daffodil, he calls himself as a guest and calls this golden daffodil as host. So narrator, when he went there, he was welcomed by these daffodils. So narrator is saying that when I went there, moving from place to place like a cloud in the sky which goes above mountain and hills and rivers. So on my journey, एक बार मैंने daffodils को देखा. So daffodils बहुत सारे थे. कहाँ थे? Beside the lake, beneath the tree. So ये daffodils जो है ये lake के बगल में है और ट्री के बिसाइड में. सो यहाँ देखिए ये डैफोडिल्स जो है ये लेक के बगल में है और ट्री के नीचे है. ये डैफोडिल्स जो है ये लेक के बगल में है और यहाँ ट्री के नीचे है. तो दिस ग्रुप ऑफ डैफोडिल्स ये कहाँ थे? ये लेक के बगल में और ट्री के नीचे थे. So narrator is saying कि when I saw these golden daffodils, ये daffodils कहाँ थे? It was beside the tree, fluttering and dancing in the wind. वो आपस में हिल रहे थे, डांस कर रहे थे. Fluttering and moving in the wind. It was dancing. So narrator says कि हम जगह तो जगह घूमते रहे जैसे cloud आसमान में रहता है. It can move above the hills and mountains and rivers and valleys. So I was also going from river, mountain and valleys. So while on my journey, narrator ने एक बार देखा कि बहुत सारे golden colors के daffodil flowers है. कहाँ पे है ये daffodil flowers? ये daffodil flowers लेक के बगल में है और एक ट्री के नीचे. Continuous as a star. Narrator is saying कि daffodils are continuous है. मतलब like stars in the Milky Way. So narrator he says that the daffodil is continuous. मतलब ये daffodil जो है एकदम continuous है. It's a daffodil which is uncountable. बहुत सारा daffodil है और ये इतना सारा daffodils जहां तक नजर जा रहा है दिख रहा है. And narrator compares this daffodil with stars in the Milky Way. With stars in the Milky Way. So narrator ने इतना सारा daffodils को ये मिल्की बार में हमने आकाश गंगा में आसमान में जो बहुत सारा stars होता है उससे compare किया. So narrator compares these golden daffodils. क्यों compare किया गया है? क्योंकि ये continuous है, ये अनंत है, ये बहुत सारे हैं. So narrator compares these golden daffodils with the twinkling stars in the Milky Way. So ये golden daffodils को आसमान में जो बहुत तारे सितारे होते हैं उससे compare किया गया. They stretch in a never-ending line. So narrator is saying कि golden daffodils continuous है. ये golden daffodils river के बगल में, ये golden daffodils river के बगल में, ये golden daffodils river के बगल में continuous stretched जहां तक नजर जा रहा वहां तक है. So these daffodils, they are continuously beside the river, beside the margin of the river. माने river का जो edge है, किनारा है, वहाँ daffodils continuous दिख रहा है. 10,000 at a glance I saw tossing in their hot in spiritingly dance. उन्होंने happy dance वो सब हवा आ रहा है और daffodils ऐसे ऐसे झूमे जा रहे, झूमे जा रहे, जैसे कोई भजन सुन के झूमे जाते, झूमे जाते. So probably nature is singing a musical spiritual song and this uh, daffodils are dancing. So Nata is saying कि एक बार में मैंने 10,000 देखा. Of course it's an exaggeration. एक बार में 10,000 कैसे दिखेगा? But narrator is trying to create an image कि वो बहुत सारे थे और एक साथ मैंने इतने सारे daffodils को नाचते हुए enjoy करते हुए देखा है. कहाँ पे थे ये daffodils? They were beside the river. So rivers के waves, but they outdid the sparkling waves in the glee. Glee मैंने happiness, sparkling मैंने जो पानी का बुलबुला निकलता है. So waves जो है वो बुलबुले के साथ जा रहा था और ये daffodils भी झूम रहे थे. तो ऐसा लग रहा था कि पानी के waves और daffodils में झूमने का competition हो रहा है, enjoy करने का, happiness का competition हो रहा है. So it seemed to the narrator that the river, the waves which are moving very fast and the daffodils which are dancing, they are trying to outdo one another. They are trying to compete with one another. So narrator is saying कि this ये daffodils flower जो है ये waves को happiness में defeat कर दे रहे थे. So daffodil, according to narrator, seem more happy than the waves which were moving on the surface of the river. कि पानी के लहरें बहुत तेज जा रही थी और daffodils भी झूम रहा था. It seems that one was defeating the other. Now narrator is saying a poet could not be but gay in such a jocund company. Narrator is saying, poet is saying कि ऐसे मौके में कोई भी पोइट जाएगा तो उसके पास सिर्फ एक ही रास्ता है, to be happy, to be gay in such a jocund company when the waves are dancing and the daffodils are dancing and the stars are so beautiful and it's such a beautiful setting. Narrator is saying कि ऐसे मौके में जाने के बाद सिर्फ एक ही रास्ता है, एक ही वे है, that is to feel happiness. And if you are a poet, if you go to this kind of place where the waves are dancing, the daffodil flowers are dancing, you'll feel happy. So narrator is saying, I gazed and gazed and gazed. Narrator is saying कि daffodils को हम देख रहे हैं. And narrator is saying it is providing narrator this look of daffodils a wealth. So narrator is saying कि जब मैं daffodils को देखता हूँ तो मुझे एक wealth मिलता है, एक खजाना मिलता है, एक ट्रेजर मिलता है. कैसा खजाना? Of course not that bank balance, but a treasury of happiness, a satisfaction, a mental peace, serenity of mind, a meditative silence. So narrator is saying that he saw the waves dancing and he saw the daffodils dancing, and it seemed to him that the daffodils were defeating the waves in dance and happiness. So then narrator says a poet cannot be but happy. But मतलब और कोई चारा नहीं है, poet वहां जाएगा तो उसको खुशी ही फील होगा. In such a jocund and happy company, narrator is saying कि हम देख रहे हैं daffodils को देखे जा रहे हैं और ये देख के जो हमको खुशी मिल रहा है, the happiness, the joy that I am getting is a wealth to me. Now, this wealth is very difficult to understand. It's a spiritual wealth. It's a wealth that can only be felt. It cannot be shown in your bank balance. It's not a portfolio bank. It's not a. It will be shown in your mutual fund account, or it will not be shown in your demat account. This happiness has to be felt. This happiness has to be perceived with the senses. So, a narrator is saying that when I gazed, when I looked and looked at daffodils, हमको एक खजाना मिला. और ये वो खजाना है जो कभी खत्म नहीं होता है और इसका रिसेशन भी नहीं होता, इन्फ्लेशन भी नहीं होता. Oft when on my couch I lie in vacant and pensive mood. Narrator is saying that when in a city, he came back to the city, and when he was lying on the bed in a very sad and vacant room, so while in his vacant and empty room, this daffodils picture came in his mind. So when he was in his lonely room, very lonely and depressed by challenges of life, by adversities of life, by problems of life, so in his inward mind, suddenly this picture of daffodil came. उसको ये दुख से बाहर निकालने के लिए डैफोडिल्स का पिक्चर उसके माइंड के इनर आई में दिखा. तो while he was lying empty in his vacant room जहाँ कुछ भी नेचर का नहीं था, so एक डैफोडिल उसके दिमाग में याद आया. याद आने से क्या हुआ? So it flashed in my inward diamonds, in his subconscious mind, in his conscious mind. Suddenly daffodil was visible in his mind. This is the bliss of solitude. Bliss matlab happiness of being lonely. When narrator is lonely, so nature comes to him to support him in his loneliness, in his pensive mood, in his vacant room. So जब कोई vacant empty room में रहता है तन्हा सोया हुआ था और सॉलिट्यूड में लोनली होता है, so nature comes to him to bless him, and then it fills my heart with pleasure and dances with daffodil. Narrator says कि जब हम ये daffodils को याद करते हैं तो मुझे एक ऐसा खुशी मिलता है, ऐसा लगता है उस खुशी से मैं भी झूमने लगा हूँ. So narrator is here talking about the power of nature in our life, in our subconscious mind, the power of nature to cure us, to heal our wound, to make us better, to make us more rejuvenating. So narrator is saying कि often अक्सर जब मैं lonely room में सोया रहता था तो मेरे दिमाग के inward eye में, मतलब ये दिमाग के अंदर इमेजिनेशन में हमको वो डैफोडिल्स दिखता था. और यही है तन्हा होने का फायदा कि नेचर आपको आके आपके दुख के मरहम पट्टी करती है. नेचर कम्स एंड हील्स द वुंड ऑफ योर माइंड एंड हर्ट. Which is the bliss of solitude? What is the bliss of solitude? Bliss matlab being fortunate, blessing, joy of being lonely. When you're lonely, nature comes to you to rescue you from your pensive mood, from your vacant room. So narrator says, when I visualize this flower, daffodil, ये मेरे दिल को feel करता है with happiness, with joy. So narrator is here talking about the power of nature, the power of nature to heal us, to make us equipped enough to fight with the adversities of life. Nature can heal our wound. Nature can make us better. Nature can make us uh, once more willing to live life. When we become very pensive, when we are about to break, nature gives us that needed courage to again prod on our life, to move on, to fight with adversities of life, to again get up and say, yes, I'll live. So we have often heard when doctors say कि आपको अब थोड़ा hill station में जाके रहना है. So this doctor who has done MBBS and MD is not a fool. He's talking about the healing power of nature. You might have seen people go to all those religious places, say Kedarnath, Badrinath, Vaishno Devi and all. These all places are nothing but they're in the lap of nature. And these places are a symbolic daffodil, means they are also part of nature. और daffodil भले ही ना हो, वो कोई और flower होगा, कोई और mountain होगा, कोई और nature का healing quality होगा. So to an Indian level, daffodil is a symbolic representation of nature. Whether you find it in Kedarnath, whether you find it in Badrinath, whether you find it in Himachal Pradesh, whether you find it in your village. So nature has the power to make us happy when we are sad, to make the stumbling block into a stepping stone. When you break, nature can give you the courage to break record. So daffodil is a symbolic representation of nature, nature which can be a game changer if you believe in it. So author is here in this poem trying to make us believe once more in the power of nature, in the healing power of nature. So there are many aspects to this poem, but thank you for watching the video. So please like and subscribe it. And if you have found this video of any meaning, please do share it with your friends. And if you have any question, please write in the comment box.